Hello everybody, Jay Smith back with you again, doing another quick lesson or tutorial. I've always been asked a question by my students about circle of fourths and circle of fifths. What's best to learn, circle of fourths or circle of fifths? Well, in my opinion, and just from the years of playing and the textbook and the real world experience, fourths are king. That's what you really want to focus on. And I'll show you near the end of this video that that's all you really need to learn are your fourths, because if you know your fourths, you'll know your fifths, because they're opposites of each other. All right, all modern music, mostly modern music. When I say modern music, I mean stuff that's happened after classical. Jazz, R&B, gospel, funk, country. Most of it uses fourth movement. Let's look at fourths quickly. Let's just start at C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat. Then we go to B, E, A, D, G, and we end back up at C. We just went through all of the keys moving by fourths. Now, when we do this, it's easy to hear that it just really doesn't sound musical. But almost everything you play has fourths in it. One of the first progressions you learn as a musician is the 2-5-1. And you can make it fancy. All of those variations doesn't matter. It's still moving by fourths. In the key of C, D to G to C is a fourth. Now, we call it, when you move within the key, it's diatonic, but it still follows the scale of that note. So even though we're in C, look at a fourth of D. That's a true fourth following the key of D. Now we're at the 5 in the key of C, but let's use the key of G to move. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can still follow the key movement to get to where you're going. Let me give you a better example. A lot of times you hear progressions in gospel like the 3. We're in C. We're going to make all these examples in C. The 3, 6, 2, 5, and 1. All right. In C, the 3, if we move a fourth using E, knowing our scales, it takes us to the 6. Now we're on A. Let's use the A scale. It takes us to the 2 of the key. Let's use the D scale. It takes us to the 5 of the key. Now, we won't play that because we know that when we're playing the song's in C. But I'm just showing you that the fourth movement follows the actual key movement of whatever note you start on. To say that again, if I'm on D, the actual scale run or the scale of D is, and not this, because when you do that, you're using the notes of C or moving diatonically. Now let's look at this again. 3, 6, 2, 5, 1 happens everywhere. Now you basically can play every note or every place in a key. The 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 1 by using fourth movement. Now, we saw 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Use straight fourth movement. 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Except we didn't move it all out in a straight chain. It was all compact like this, meaning it moved circular. Now here's the exception. What do we do when we can move every chord, the 3, the 6, the 2, the 5, and the 1, but when we get to the 4 and the 7, there comes a small problem? Especially my gospel cats, you know there are a lot of songs where you move up to the 4. And the next chord is a 7. Well, The interval, or the space between the 4 and the 7th, is a tritone. So it's a sharp fourth. But guess what? It's still a type of fourth. So that is the place where you break ground a lot of times. And you break the tradition of moving by the normal regular fourth. Here's an example of where the 4 and the 7 of the key break the traditional fourth movement. Watch this. When we do a song like I Will Survive, at first I was afraid, starts on the 6th of C, moves a fourth, I was petrified, moves a fourth, thinking how I could never live without you, moves a fourth, by my side, moves a fourth, now we're on the 4th of the key. But when I spent so many nights there, we can't move a regular fourth and go to B flat, because that's going to take us out of the key. We're going to break the tradition and go a sharp fourth. First I was afraid, I was petrified, I could never live without your fourth by my side. But when I so many nights, sharp fourth to the 7. How you did me wrong, I grew strong. You see what happens? So you see that movement in so many. All right, you look at something like Shining Star from Earth, Wind and Fire. You're a shining star. We're in E minor now. All right, now we're going to move a fourth from that. You're a shining star. Fourth from A, D. Fourth from D, G. Fourth from G. All right, the chorus is fourth movement. You're a shining star. No matter who you are, shining bright to see, you can truly be. It's so important to learn fourths. You look at Gershwin, I Got Rhythm. You heard that. But Gershwin came up with what we call now a Gershwin bridge. He went to the 3rd of the key and played all dominant chords and moved by fourths. So even though we're in B flat, move a fourth to G, move a fourth to C7, move a fourth to F7, and that's the 5 of the key. Back to see what he did? And Flintstones actually use the chords to I Got Rhythm. Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. The family down the street to a curtain. Fly Me to the Moon is another example of great fourth movement. In the key of C, starts on the 6th. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Saw that fourth movement? Play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Now in the beginning when we did that, didn't sound that musical. But when we put the chords into harmony with it, it sounds like what you're used to hearing. Now, you take a song like Shout. Shout, 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 shout. The song consists of 2 chords. There's no fourth movement. Everything is not gonna have fourth movement in it, but the majority of songs that you hear, it's easy, and you're going to find some chain of fourths somewhere in it. It's like having a paragraph that doesn't have the word and. You can find it, but it's going to be rare. Chords, when students learn new chords, I tell them, learn them in fourths. If you're studying 13th chords, practice them in fourths. Simple major chords. Everything you do, practice it in fourths. If you're working on a song and you're trying to learn this song in more than one key, learn it in C, then learn it in F, then learn it in B flat. By learning things in fourths, you basically embed fourth movement in the back of your brain, and it becomes so common to you, you can see a chain of fourths anywhere. So get used to practicing in fourths, learning fourths. Now, I talked about how fourths and fifths are the same thing. Anything on the piano can be inverted. It depends on the way you look at it. If I move from C to F, you're going to say it's a fourth because that's what we're used to. But if I invert that movement and go from F to C, it's a fifth now. It's a diatonic fifth in the key of F. So F to B flat is a fourth, but B flat to F, you know, is a fifth. So intervals can be inverted. All intervals can. And what's crazy about it is when you invert intervals, they always total up to 9. So if I go from C to E, that's a major third. All right, so what do we got to add to make it 9? Some type of 6. So C to E is a major third. But if I go from E to C, it's a minor 6. That's the regular 6. That's a minor 6. If I go from C to C sharp, that's a minor second. What number needs to add up to make that 9? A 7. A minor second. C to C sharp is a minor second. So if we invert that interval and go C sharp to C, it becomes a major 7. It's the opposite. If an interval is minor this way, it's major the other way. Let's look at C to E flat. It's a minor third this way. If we invert it, a minor third, what do we do to make it add up? It has to be a 6 to the 3 to make it some type of 9. If it's minor this way, the opposite is going to be major. So a minor third inverts to a major 6. It's the 6 of E flat. Minor third, major 6. If we have a fourth, C to F, it's going to invert to a fifth. If you have a tritone is basically in math 4.5. Tritone inverts to another tritone. So F to B also becomes what? B to F. So it's simple. You start looking at this stuff like this, it really changes your viewpoint of music. So remember, fourths are king. If you really want to focus on fifths, fifths help you when you start doing music notation. Your sharps on the key signature. Your sharps are listed in fifths. The first one is going to be F sharp for the key of G. All right, you move a fifth. The next sharp moves a fifth too. So the next sharp you add will be C sharp as the key moves a fifth. Next key moves a fifth to A. You move sharps, F sharp. Next sharp will be G sharp. That's how the sharps are arranged on the key signature. Flats are arranged in fourths. The first flat's B flat, key of F. All right, as F moves to B flat, what happens? The next flat that's on the key signature is E flat. So that's what this stuff is for, man. The music theory is real, man, and people just don't want to learn it. A lot of cats just want to play all these fat chords and, you know, and you don't know where you're going. And it just, I hate that because so many people could be playing so much better and going places that they don't know that they can go. But this simple theory stuff, man, when you apply it to all the fat stuff that we know, man, it can change your life. So just remember, fellas, when you're learning theory, put the theory first. You can add the fat chords and all that later. You'll notice in my videos, I don't try to come here on theory videos and try to give you a whole bunch of fat chords, because I want you to know where you're going and learn the theory. That's why you'll see me the 6 regular minor chords. Know where you're going in a elementary way first before you try to add the fatness. I need to. Then you can come back and add all the fat voicings. It just doesn't make sense. And that's why a lot of people don't learn from people's videos, because we're not here to audition for you guys. We're here to show you the theory. Then you take that and you can play all the fat chords and add to it once you know where you're going. All right, be blessed, everybody. Practice those fourths. They really help. All right, take care.